The alien warrior woman was left alone, until a human rescued her Lyra. Starfall opened her eyes to pain. Her body felt heavy and broken as she lay under pieces of her crashed ship. The once beautiful craft, now just twisted metal scattered across the strange land. She tried to move, but her leg was trapped under a heavy beam. Her armor, once shiny and marked with special designs from her homeworld, was now dirty and damaged. Beside her Ferris, her small dragon companion made soft, worried sounds. His purple scales caught the light of the unfamiliar sun as he nudged her arm with his snout. He was hurt too. A deep cut ran along his wing, making flight impossible. They were both stuck here on this unknown world. Lyra reached out with her mind to comfort Ferris. They shared a special bond that let them feel what the other felt. Without words, she told him they would survive. She had to believe that the stars above looked wrong. This was not her home. This was a human world called Outpost, Pro-17, far from any place her people would look for her. She remembered the attack, the ships that came from nowhere, the faces of her own kind firing weapons at her. She was running because she knew something dangerous, something that would change everything. Her own leaders had tried to kill her before she could tell anyone the truth. Now she was here alone except for Ferris, with no way to call for help. Night came fast on this planet. The air grew cold. Lyra pulled herself free from the wreckage using her sword Moonwhisper as support. The ancient weapon still hummed with power, but even it seemed weaker here. She dragged herself to a small cave nearby Ferris, helping by pushing against her. When her strength failed, from the cave she could see the valley spread out below. Strange plants grew everywhere, tall and green, unlike the crystal trees of her home. Her supplies were low, just a few days' worth of food and water. Her wounds were getting worse too. A deep cut on her side was turning an angry, red color. She knew what that meant. Infection. A slow, painful end in her people. They sang songs about warriors who died in battle. It was an honor to fall fighting, but to die here alone with no one to sing her name to the stars. That was sad. Ferris curled next to her, sharing his warmth. She stroked his scales and wondered if he would survive when she was gone. Would he find his way among the wild creatures of this world? For 3 nights they stayed in the cave. Each day Lyra grew weaker. The infection spread. Her skin burned with fever, yet she felt cold. Ferris hunted small animals, bringing them back, but Lyra could barely eat. Her water ran out. She knew the end was coming. Soon she would join the great warriors in the sky. Her only regret was failing her mission. The truth would die with her. On the 4th morning, Lyra heard a new sound, different from the normal noises of this world. It was mechanical, steady, growing louder. She pulled herself to the cave entrance using the last of her strength. What she saw gave her both hope and fear. A human ship, small and boxy, was landing in the valley near her crashed vessel. Humans were dangerous. That much she knew. Her people and humans had fought many times before. But what choice did she have? To stay here was certain death. To trust a human was a risk. Lyra watched as the ship door opened. She gripped Moonwhisper tightly, preparing for whatever would come. A lone figure stepped out, a human female wearing simple clothes, not military armor. She had light brown hair tied back and carried a bag over her shoulder. She moved carefully, studying plants, bending down to collect samples. She did not look like a warrior. She looked like a scholar. The human found the crash site soon enough. Lyra watched as she examined the wreckage, touching the strange metal with curious hands. Then the human looked up toward the hills, as if sensing she was being watched. Their eyes met across the distance. Lyra saw the human freeze in surprise. Then, slowly raise her empty hands, showing she had no weapons. Ferris growled low and protective. His scales glowed brighter with warning. Lyra placed a hand on his neck to calm him. She was too weak to fight, too weak to run. Her fate now rested in the hands of this unknown human. Whatever happened next would decide if she lived or died. The human took one step forward, then another, slowly approaching the cave, where Lyra waited, her sword ready, but her body failing. The fate of worlds hung in balance as human met alien for the first time. The alien warrior woman was left alone, until a human rescued her. Kate Miller never planned to find an alien on her morning plant hunt. She was a scientist who studied plants from other worlds. Her job was simple: find new plants, test them, and write reports. She worked at a small research base far from the main human settlement. She liked being alone with her plants and her thoughts. That morning, she had picked up strange readings on her scanner. Something had crashed in the northern valley. Something with metals not found on this planet. Her bosses would want her to report it right away, but Kate was curious. She always had been too curious, her mother used to say. So instead of calling it in, she took her small ship to check. When she found the crashed alien ship, she knew she should be scared. Aliens and humans did not get along. The news always showed fights between humans and the tall, point-eared people from the stars. But Kate was a scientist, not a soldier. She wanted to understand, not fight. When she saw movement in a cave up on the hill, she went to look. Kate was not ready for what she found. A wounded alien woman with silver hair and skin that seemed to glow in the dim light. Beside her was a small dragon with purple scales that sparkled like gems. The alien held a sword that hummed with strange energy. The dragon growled, showing sharp teeth. But what struck Kate most was the pain in the alien woman's eyes. She was hurt badly. Kate raised her hands to show she meant no harm. She spoke slowly, knowing the alien might not understand human words. "I am Kate. I am not a soldier. I want to help you. Are hurt." The alien woman said nothing, but the dragon growled louder. Kate slowly reached into her bag and took out her medical scanner. She pointed to it, then to the alien. "I can help you," she said again. For a long time they just looked at each other. The alien woman was beautiful, but in a strange way. Her ears came to points. Her eyes were large and fully purple with no white parts. Her silver hair had patterns that seemed to move like water. Kate waited, patient. The alien finally lowered her sword just a little. Kate took that as permission to come closer. The dragon did not like this. He spread his injured wing and made himself look bigger. Kate stopped. She pointed to the wing. "I can fix that too," she said. The alien woman spoke then. Her voice was like music in a language Kate had never heard. The dragon looked at his master, then back at Kate. He seemed unhappy, but he lowered his wing. Kate worked slowly. First she scanned both the alien and her dragon. The results were strange. Their bodies worked differently from humans, but she could see the infection in the alien's blood. It would kill her soon without medicine. The dragon's wing was simpler, just a clean break that needed to be set. Kate took medicine from her bag. The alien woman watched with suspicious eyes. "I need to give you this shot," Kate said, pointing to the medicine, then to the alien's arm. "It will fight the infection." The alien did not move. Kate sighed. She rolled up her own sleeve and pretended to give herself the shot. "See, it's okay." The alien woman studied her face, then slowly extended her arm. Kate gave her the medicine as gently as she could. The alien winced but did not pull away. Next, Kate cleaned and bandaged the cut on the alien's side. It was deep and angry looking. The alien woman stayed very still, though Kate knew it must hurt. Then Kate turned to the dragon. She spoke softly to him, as she would to a scared animal. "I will not hurt you, little one. Let me see your wing." The dragon looked at his master. The alien woman nodded. Fixing the wing was harder. The dragon did not like being touched. He snapped at Kate once, making her jump back. But the alien woman spoke sharply and he settled again. Kate worked carefully, setting the broken bone and wrapping it with a special bandage that would help it heal. The dragon made small, pained noises but stayed still. When Kate was done, she sat back. The alien woman looked better already. The medicine was working fast. Her eyes seemed clearer. The alien spoke again. Musical words Kate did not understand. Kate shook her head. "I don't speak your language," she said. The alien woman frowned. Then she touched her own chest. "Lyra," she said. Kate smiled and pointed to herself. "Kate." She repeated, "Lyra." The alien woman needed more help than Kate could give in this cave. She needed real medical care, food, clean water, but taking her to the research base was risky. If anyone saw Lyra, they would call the military. The military would take Lyra away, maybe hurt her or worse. Kate thought hard. Then she decided she would take Lyra to her private lab, a small building hidden in the woods where Kate did her secret experiments. Kate pointed outside, then made walking motions with her fingers. "I have a place," she said, "safer than here. Food, water, medicine." Lyra seemed to understand. She tried to stand but fell back weak from her wounds. Kate helped her, up supporting her weight. The dragon Ferris, as Lyra called him, limped behind them, watching Kate with untrusting eyes. The walk to Kate's ship was slow and hard. Lyra was tall and heavy, leaning on Kate. They had to stop many times to rest. Ferris kept looking at the sky as if expecting danger. Kate wondered what had happened to make them crash here. What was Lyra running from? When they reached the ship, Kate helped Lyra inside. Ferris climbed in after them, still watching Kate carefully. The ship was small, just big enough for three. Lyra sat in the co-pilot seat, looking at the controls with interest. Ferris curled at her feet, his eyes never leaving Kate. Kate started the engines, hoping no one at base was monitoring flights right now. She lifted off and turned toward the deep forest where her lab was hidden. As they flew, Lyra looked out the window at the planet below. Her face showed sadness. Kate wanted to ask her so many questions. Why are you here? What happened to your ship? Why were you alone? But those questions would have to wait. First, she needed to get Lyra somewhere safe and help her heal. Then maybe they could find a way to understand each other. Kate did not know that by helping this alien woman, she had just changed her life, forever. She did not know that soon she would be running for her life with Lyra and Ferris. She only knew that helping someone in need felt right, even if that someone had pointed ears and purple eyes. As the ship flew over the forest toward the hidden lab somewhere far above them, other ships were entering the planet's atmosphere. Ships carrying those who wanted Lyra dead. The quiet morning that had started with Kate looking for plants was about to become the beginning of a war that would change everything. The alien warrior woman was left alone. Until a human rescued her far above the planet, a dark ship entered the atmosphere. Its shape was like a blade, sharp and threatening. No lights shone from it. It moved silent and hidden from human sensors. Inside stood Commander Nia Reed, once a friend to Lyra, now her hunter. Her skin, once golden like all their kind, was now pale with dark lines running beneath it. Her eyes, once bright, were now black, pools without light. Nia was not alone. 5 other warriors stood with her, all changed, like her, all serving the Void Emperor, the being who had taken control of their minds. The Emperor did not want to rule worlds. He wanted to eat them, to feed on the thoughts and souls of all living things. Lyra had discovered this terrible truth. She had tried to warn others. Now she must be stopped. Find her and the Drake. Kill any who help them, Nia ordered, her voice flat and cold. The warriors bowed and prepared their weapons. They would search the planet until they found their prey. They did not feel tired or hungry or afraid. The Emperor had taken those feelings from them. They only knew the mission. The ship landed in a hidden valley, and they spread out to hunt. Meanwhile, Kate had brought Lyra to her secret lab. A small building was hidden among thick trees. Its outside looked like a storage shed, but inside was Kate's true work, a place where she studied the most interesting plants from many worlds. Without telling her bosses, Kate had been looking for plants that could heal better than any medicine. Lyra looked around the lab with interest. Her fever was lower now thanks to Kate's medicine, but she was still weak. Ferris explored the small space, sniffing at strange plants. His wing was healing faster than Kate thought possible. The bandage she had put on was already coming loose. Kate made food, simple soup from vegetables. She grew herself. She offered a bowl to Lyra. Lyra sniffed it, then took a small taste. She nodded and began to eat. Kate smiled. It was a small victory. Ferris was harder to feed. He would not eat the dried meat Kate offered. Instead, he seemed interested in the glowing crystals Kate used for her plant lights. Kate watched in shock as the small dragon ate one of the crystals. His scales glowed brighter afterward. As night fell, Kate tried again to talk with Lyra. It was hard without sharing a language, but Kate was smart. She took out paper and drew pictures. A picture of Lyra and her crashed ship. A question mark. Kate wanted to know what had happened. Lyra looked at the drawing. Then she took the pen. What Lyra drew made Kate gasp. A picture of many ships attacking one small ship. Lyra pointed to the small ship, then to herself. Then Lyra drew something else. Something that made Kate feel cold. A large shape like a cloud with eyes and many arms reaching out to grab smaller shapes Kate did not understand fully, but she knew it was bad. Very bad sleep. Kate said, pointing to a small bed in the corner of the lab. You need. Rest. Lyra seemed to understand. She lay down on the bed, Ferris curled next to her, protective as always. Kate sat at her desk thinking, what had she gotten herself into? She was just a plant scientist. Now she was hiding an alien fugitive in her secret lab. If anyone found out, she would lose her job, maybe go to jail. But looking at Lyra sleeping peacefully, Kate knew she had done the right thing. Lyra was not dangerous. She was scared. She was running from something terrible. Kate would help her. That decision made Kate feel better. She turned to her computer. There must be a way to help them talk. A translation program or something. Kate worked through the night. While Lyra and Ferris slept, she searched through research databases looking for information about Lyra's people. She found some. They were called Elysians. They came from a world far from Earth. They were advanced with technology humans could barely understand. Most importantly, they had fought with humans before. Many times, the next morning, Kate woke to find Lyra standing over her. Lyra held something small and round. It glowed with soft blue light. She placed it on the desk in front of Kate. The object expanded, creating a floating image of stars and planets. Lyra pointed to one planet, then to herself. My home, she seemed to say. Then she pointed to another planet far from the first. This one had a dark cloud around it. Lyra made a face of fear and disgust. Kate began to understand. Lyra was running from something on that dark planet, something that scared even a warrior like her. Kate pointed to her computer, then to the small device Lyra had. Can we connect them? She tried to ask with gestures Lyra seemed to understand. She took the device and held it near the computer. The screen flickered, then changed, showing strange symbols that shifted and changed. Suddenly the computer spoke. This is language interface protocol. Elysian to human translation beginning. The voice was flat and computer-like, but Kate almost fell out of her chair in surprise. Lyra smiled for the first time. It changed her whole face, making her look younger, less worried. She spoke, and the computer translated. I thank you for saving my life. And Ferris, too. You have shown kindness when you could have shown fear. The computer said. Kate smiled back. No problem, she said. I couldn't just leave you there to die. The computer translated her words and Lyra nodded. Now we can talk. Lyra said through the translator. I must tell you why I am here. It is important, not just for my people, but for yours too. Before Lyra could continue, an alarm sounded from Kate's security system. Someone was approaching the lab. Kate jumped up to check the monitors. A group of research staff from the main base was coming through. The woods! They found my ship, Kate said, panicking. They must have tracked it here. We have to hide you. She pointed to a small door at the back of the lab. It led to a storage room barely big enough for 2 people. Quick in there, Kate said, pushing Lyra. Toward the door, Lyra grabbed her sword and Ferris followed. The door closed just as someone knocked on the main door. Kate tried to look normal as she opened the door. May from the botany department stood there with 2 security guards. Hello, Kate, she said. We noticed your ship was out early this morning. Did you find something interesting? Kate forced a smile. Just some new plant samples. Nothing special. The guards looked past her into the lab, their eyes suspicious. We had reports of a crash. In the Northern Valley, May said one of our satellites picked it up. Did you see anything? Kate shook her head. No, nothing. I was in the eastern forest all morning. The guards exchanged looks. Kate knew they didn't believe her. One of them stepped forward. We need to check your lab standard procedure, he said. Kate had no choice. She stepped aside, letting them in. Her heart was beating fast. Would they find Lyra? Would they hear Ferris if he made a noise? The guards looked around, opening cabinets, checking. Under tables, one of them approached the back door. Kate held her breath. Just as the guard reached for the door handle, an alarm blared from all their communicators. Emergency at main base, all personnel return immediately. May looked at her device. There are unidentified ships landing near the base, she said. We have to go. The guards nodded, forgetting about the door. They followed May outside. Kate waited until she heard their ship leave before rushing to the storage room. Lyra and Ferris came. Out, Lyra looked grim. They have found me, she said through the translator. My former sisters, the ones who serve the Emperor. They will destroy your base to find me. Kate didn't understand. Who was this Emperor? Why was he hunting? Lyra placed a hand on Kate's shoulder. We must leave this planet, she said. I have put you in danger by staying. I am sorry. Kate thought quickly. Where could they go? The only ships that could leave the planet were at the main base. The base that was now under attack. Need a plan, Kate said. And you need to tell me everything, who is hunting you and why. Lyra nodded. She sat down with Ferris at her side and began to speak. The translator working to convert her words. The story she told made Kate's blood run cold. It was about betrayal and a darkness spreading across the stars, a hungry evil that wanted to devour all thinking beings, an evil that now knew Kate was helping Lyra. As Lyra spoke, Kate's small lab no longer felt safe. The walls seemed too thin, the forest too quiet. Outside the windows, the sky was growing dark with storm clouds. Or perhaps those were not clouds at all, but ships coming to find them. Kate listened and knew that her life would never be the same. Her simple days of studying plants were over now. She was part of something bigger, something that might decide the fate of both their peoples. The alien warrior woman was left alone until a human rescued. Her, Kate, and Lyra needed to leave the planet fast. The alien hunters would find them soon. Kate's small ship could not fly to space. They needed a bigger ship, one that could carry them far. Away, Kate thought hard. Then she remembered something. The trading post. 3 days' travel from here is a place called New Horizon, Kate explained as the translator changed her words for Lyra. It's where traders and travelers meet people from many worlds. Go there. We might find someone with a ship who can take us away from here. Lyra nodded. We must try, she said through the translator. The Emperor will send more hunters. The longer we stay, the more danger for your people. Kate packed quickly. Food, water, medical supplies, and her research notes. She could not leave those behind. They were too important. Lyra gathered her few things, her sword and a small crystal that hung around her neck. Ferris was stronger now. His wing had healed faster than Kate thought possible. The small dragon seemed eager to leave. He paced by the door, looking out the windows. The translator had helped Kate understand that Ferris was not just a pet. He was smart like a person. He understood everything they said. They left. At night, using the darkness to hide them, Kate's ship was small but fast. They flew low between trees to avoid being seen on sensors. Kate knew all the hidden paths through the forest. Years of secret plant hunting had taught her well. Lyra sat beside her, watching the sky with worried eyes. They reached the mountains by morning. The trading post of New Horizon was built in an old mining colony. Its buildings were made from pieces of ships and scrap metal. People of many kinds lived there. Humans, aliens, and mixed breeds. All trying to make money or hide from someone. Kate landed her ship in a hidden cave, then covered it with branches. You need a disguise. Kate told Lyra, your ears and eyes will make people notice you. She gave Lyra a hood to cover her silver hair and pointed ears and dark glasses to hide her purple eyes. Ferris was harder to hide. The small dragon did not like the idea of being carried in a bag. But after Lyra spoke to him in their special way, he agreed, though he looked unhappy. The trading post was busy and loud. People shouted, trying to sell things. Strange music played from speakers. Metal clanged as workers fixed ships. Kate kept close to Lyra, guiding her through the crowds. No one gave them a second look. Everyone at New Horizon had secrets. No one asked questions. They found the ship area where captains looked for passengers and cargo. Kate approached a woman cleaning the outside of a medium-sized ship. It looked old but well cared for. The name Wanderlust was painted on its side. The woman had short gray hair and a face marked with old scars. "Are you the captain?" Kate asked. The woman looked them over with sharp eyes. "I am," she said. "Captain Diane Wells. What do you want?" Kate took a breath. "We need passage, off-planet for 3, 2 humans and a pet." The captain raised an eyebrow at the lumpy bag Lyra carried. "Pet, huh?" the captain said. "That pet wouldn't happen to be something illegal, would it?" Kate shook her head quickly. "No, just unusual. Ferris chose that moment to poke his head out of the bag, his purple eyes blinking in the light. Captain Wells did not look surprised. She had seen stranger things. "It will cost you," the captain said. 3,000 credits. Half now, half when we land." Kate bit her lip. That was all the money she had saved in 5 years. But what choice did they have? She nodded and held out her credit chip. The captain took it. "We leave in 2 hours," she said. "Be ready. Don't bring trouble to my ship." Kate thanked her and led Lyra away, to wait. They found a small food stand and bought soup, the first real meal they had eaten in days. As they ate, Kate noticed a woman watching them. She was thin with long dark hair, and she stared at Ferris with too much interest. Kate nudged Lyra, and they left quickly. 2 hours later they returned to the Wanderlust. Captain Wells waved them on board. The ship was bigger inside than it looked. 4 small rooms for passengers, a main area with seats and tables, and the control room up front. The captain introduced them to the only crew member, a quiet woman named Penny, who was the engineer. Penny smiled at them, but her eyes lingered on Lyra's bag where Ferris was hidden. Kate felt uneasy but said nothing. They were shown to their rooms, small but clean. Kate took one and Lyra took another. Once alone, Ferris came out of the bag happy to be free. He explored the small room, sniffing everything. The ship took off smoothly. Captain Wells knew her job. The planet grew small below them, and soon they were in space. Stars shining all around them. Kate felt relief. They had escaped. They were safe. At least for now. That night, Kate could not sleep. She went to the main area for water and found Penny sitting alone. The engineer smiled and offered Kate a seat. Kate sat down, careful to seem friendly but not too friendly. Something about Penny made her nervous. "Have you known the captain long?" Kate asked, trying to make conversation. Penny nodded. 3 years, she said. I joined her crew after leaving Earth Science Division. Kate tried not to react. Science Division was part of Earth's military. They studied alien technology and biology. "What made you leave?" Kate asked, keeping her voice casual. Penny shrugged. "Wanted to see the stars," she said, but her eyes were too sharp, too watching. "Do you work with plants?" Penny asked suddenly. Kate almost spilled her water. "How did you know?" She asked. "Your bag," Penny said. "You have plant samples in there. I saw them when you came aboard." Kate nodded, trying to stay calm. "Yes. I'm a botanist. Just collecting samples." Penny smiled, but it did not reach her eyes. "Interesting samples in this sector," she said. "Some say the Elysians have plants that can heal any wound, grow back lost limbs, even bring back the dead." Before Kate could answer, the ship shuddered violently. Lights flickered and went out. Emergency lights came on, bathing everything in red. Captain Wells' voice came over the speakers. "Engine failure," she said. "Stay in your seats." Penny jumped up, running toward the engine room. Kate ran to find Lyra. Lyra was already awake, Moon Whisper in her hand. Ferris beside her. "They know we are here," she said, her translator device still working. "We must be ready." Kate felt cold. How could they have found them so quickly? The ship drifted powerless in space. Kate, Lyra, and Ferris joined Captain Wells in the control room. The captain was angry, hitting buttons, trying to get systems back online. Nothing worked. Nothing made sense. "The engines were fine yesterday," she said. "They were checked before takeoff." Lyra stepped forward, pressing her translator. She touched a screen showing the ships outside. "This is not engine failure," she said. "This is void technology, a suppression field. It stops all power, except their own." The captain looked at her with new eyes. "Who exactly are you?" she asked. "And who is hunting you?" Before Lyra could answer, the door to the control room opened. Penny stood there, but she was different. Her friendly manner gone. Now she held a weapon pointed at them. "This ship is now under control of Earth Science Division," she said, her voice cold. "No one move, especially you, Elysian. So much for staying hidden." Kate thought. The captain looked furious. "You brought trouble to my ship," she growled at Kate. "I told you." Not to Penny, kept her weapon steady. "Agent Penny Lane," she said formally. "I am here to collect the Elysian fugitive and the Drake for study. They are property of Earth." Now, Lyra stood tall, her hood fallen back, showing her silver hair and pointed ears. "I am not property," she said. "I am Lyra Starfall, last sentinel of the Sylvan Guard, and I carry a warning your people must hear." Penny laughed. "The Science Division doesn't care about your warnings," she said. "We care about your technology, your weapons, your biology. We will learn all your secrets, Captain." Wells moved suddenly, grabbing for Penny's weapon, but Penny was faster. She fired. The captain fell, clutching her arm. Kate rushed to help her. The wound was bad, bleeding heavily. Kate tore a strip from her shirt to make a bandage. Penny pointed her weapon at Ferris. "Now the Drake," she said. "Put him in this." She held out a small cage with her free hand. Ferris growled, his scales glowing bright with anger. Lyra stepped in front of him. "No," she said. "He is not a thing to be caged. He is the last of his kind, a keeper of knowledge. Knowledge we will take," Penny said. Her finger tightened on the trigger. Just then the ship shook again, harder than before. Penny stumbled, losing balance. Lyra moved like lightning, her sword flashing. The weapon flew from Penny's hand, spinning across the floor. Kate dove for it, grabbing it before Penny could recover. Now it was Kate holding the weapon. She had never fired one before, but Penny didn't know that. "Stand back," Kate said, trying to sound brave. Penny smiled suddenly. "You have no idea what you've gotten yourself into," she said. "Look outside." Kate glanced at the screen and felt her heart sink. A large ship had appeared next to them, black and blade-shaped. It was a opening like a flower, revealing a docking bay. The Wanderlust was being pulled inside. No engine power meant no escape. Lyra looked at the screen, her face pale. "They have found us," she whispered. "The Void Hunters, my sisters who now serve the Emperor." The captain, holding her wounded arm, looked between them. "What is going on?" she demanded. "What is this Emperor thing?" Ferris made a strange sound. Then, jumping onto the control panel, he touched the screens with his claws. Suddenly, the ship's systems came back online, lights brightened, engines hummed. Penny looked shocked. "Impossible," she said. "The suppression field. He is not just a Drake," Lyra explained. "He is a keeper of technology, a living library." The captain didn't waste time questioning. She jumped to the controls, firing engines at full power. The Wanderlust shot forward, pulling free from the larger ship's grip. The alien warrior woman was left alone until a human rescued. Her 3 days passed on the Wanderlust. 3 days of watching the stars and watching Penny. Captain Wells kept the ship moving fast. Following the course Lyra had set, Kate helped tend to the captain's wounded arm. It was healing well thanks to medicine. Lyra had shared Elysian healing gel that closed wounds faster than human medicine. Penny remained locked in a storage room. Kate checked on her 3 times each day, bringing food and water. Penny said little, just watched with those 2 sharp eyes. Sometimes she smiled as if she knew something they did not. Kate tried not to show her fear. Lyra spent the time teaching Kate about her people. Through the translator, Kate learned of the Elysian homeworld, its crystal forests and cities that floated among clouds. She learned about the Alliance, a group of worlds working together to fight the Emperor. Kate was surprised to learn humans had been invited to join long ago, but had refused, fearing tricks. Ferris grew stronger each day. His scales shone brighter, his wing now fully healed. He seemed to enjoy flying around the ship, exploring every corner. Captain Wells complained, but not too much. She had grown fond of the small dragon, especially after he fixed the ship's broken cooling system with just a touch of his claws. On the fourth day they reached Sanctuary. The planet looked ordinary from space, blue and green with white clouds swirling across its surface. Nothing, special nothing, that showed why the Emperor feared it. The captain brought the ship down through the atmosphere following Lyra's directions. They landed in a clearing surrounded by tall crystal formations that reminded Kate of Lyra's descriptions of her homeworld. "This is it," Lyra said, stepping off the ship. "The last sanctuary." She breathed deeply. The air smelled sweet like flowers. Kate followed, looking around. The crystal formations caught the sunlight, breaking it into rainbows that danced. Across the ground, Captain Wells came next, supporting her still sore arm. Ferris bounded ahead, eager to explore. "And what about her?" Kate asked, nodding toward the ship, where Penny remained locked up. Lyra looked troubled. "We cannot leave her," she said. She would find a way to contact the Emperor. Captain Wells nodded. "We bring her with us," she decided. "Keep her where we can see her." They returned to the ship and brought Penny out, her hands tied. She walked willingly, her eyes taking in everything, with great interest. Lyra led them toward the largest crystal formation. It towered above them, at least 50 feet tall, and glowed with a soft inner light. When they reached it, Lyra placed her hand against the smooth surface. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the crystal began to pulse with light. Lines of energy ran through it, forming patterns like writing. The ground shook slightly, and a doorway appeared in the crystal face. Lyra stepped through without hesitation. Kate followed, feeling a strange tingling as she passed through the doorway. Inside was not what she expected. Instead of a crystal cave, they entered a vast room filled with technology, unlike anything Kate had seen. Curved walls covered in screens. Control panels that floated in mid-air, lights that moved like living things. This was built by the first ones. Lyra explained, "The beings who came before any of our people. They left these sanctuaries across the galaxy, places of knowledge and power. The Emperor cannot enter here. The crystals block his influence. That is why he fears these places." Captain Wells whistled, impressed by the technology. Even Penny looked surprised, her usual confident smirk gone. Ferris seemed most at home. He flew to a central platform and landed. His scales glowed in harmony with the lights around them. It was as if the place recognized him. Lyra approached a large circular area in the center of the room. "This is why I came," she said. "This is what the Emperor does not want your people to know." She touched a control panel and the air above the circle shimmered. A three-dimensional image appeared, showing a dark cloud, shaped like a man, but not a man. Its edges moved like smoke. Its center was darker than night. Within it, points of light struggled like trapped stars. "The Void Emperor," Lyra said. "Not a person, but a thing. A parasite that feeds on minds, on souls. It finds a world, takes control of some people, uses them to bring others until the whole planet is consumed. All thoughts, all feelings become food for it. It has lived for millions of years, moving from world to world, growing stronger." Kate felt cold, looking at the image. She could almost feel it watching her, even though it was just a picture. "This is what hunts you?" I asked. Lyra nodded. "That and those it controls. My people were among the first it tried to take, but we fought. The alliance was formed to stop it, but now it has found a way to break our defenses. It has taken many of my sisters, many warriors behind. Then Penny began to laugh. You cannot stop it, she said. Her voice strange different, it grows stronger each day. Soon it will no longer need bodies to do its work. It will reach across space with its mind and take worlds without ever going to them. She pulled at her bonds, twisting her hands until they bled, but she did not seem to feel pain. Her eyes had changed, growing darker. She is connected to it, Captain Wells said, backing away. The Emperor can see through her. Lyra drew her sword, moving toward Penny, but Kate stopped her. Wait, she said. Maybe we can help her. Maybe we can break the connection. Lyra shook her head. Once taken, there is no return, she said. The Emperor changes them from inside their bodies. Their minds belong to him now. The sanctuary shook suddenly. Dust fell from the ceiling. Screens flickered. Ferris screeched a warning. Kate ran to a window, looking outside. Her heart sank. Ships were landing in the clearing. Black blade-shaped ships. The sanctuary was found. They are here, Lyra said. They followed us. Penny smiled wider, the expression wrong on her face, too wide, too many teeth. The Emperor comes, she said. You will all feed him soon. You cannot stop what is coming, Captain. Wells drew her gun, pointing it at Penny. Kate put a hand on her arm. No, she said. This isn't her fault. Lyra went to the control panels, her fingers moving quickly across the strange symbols. The sanctuary has defenses, she explained, but they need time to power up. We must hold the hunters back until... Then Kate looked around for weapons, finding nothing but a metal rod that had fallen from the ceiling. It would have to do. Captain Wells checked her gun. 1 clip, she said. 6 shots. Not enough for an army. Kate thought of the plants she had studied. Some were poison, perhaps, but nothing that would stop trained warriors. The captain seemed to read her thoughts. Stay here, she said. Protect the sanctuary. I will slow them down. Kate tried to stop her, but the captain was already moving toward the entrance outside. The sound of weapons firing echoed through the crystal walls. The captain was fighting, giving them time. Kate turned to Lyra. What can I do? She asked. How can I help? Lyra pointed to another control panel. I need to activate the signal, she said. The one that will break the Emperor's control. But it needs 2 people. 1 Elysian, 1 human. Our minds together. The first ones built it that way. Long ago they knew we would need to work together. Kate nodded and went to the panel Lyra showed her where to place her hands on smooth crystal pads that lit up at her touch. Lyra did the same on her side. Their eyes met across the panels. Kate nodded. She was ready. Lyra began to speak words in her own language. The translator silent now. But somehow Kate understood the sanctuary was helping her. Understand. A beam of light grew between them, connecting their hands. Warm energy flowed through Kate's body. It did not hurt, but it felt strange, like being filled with sunlight behind them. Ferris added his power, his scales glowing brighter than ever. The sanctuary hummed, growing louder. The screen showed the beam building growing stronger, reaching up through the crystal roof toward space. Penny screamed, falling to her knees, her eyes clearing. For a moment, please, she said in a normal voice. Her real voice. Kill me. Don't let it use me. Then her face changed again and she lunged forward, breaking her bonds. She grabbed Kate, pulling her away from the panel. The connection broke. The beam faltered. Lyra cried out in dismay. She could not hold the connection alone. Kate struggled with Penny. The woman was stronger than she looked. Driven by the Emperor's will, Ferris flew at Penny, biting her arm. She screamed, but did not let go of Kate. The 3 of them fell to the floor, rolling, struggling. A shot rang out. Penny went still. Captain Wells stood in the doorway, her gun smoking, blood running down her side. I said to protect the sanctuary, she said before collapsing. Kate ran to her. The captain was badly hurt, too many wounds to count. She had fought her way back to them through the hunters. Kate helped Lyra back to the panel. They had to try again. The hunters would be inside soon. They placed their hands on the crystals once more. The beam built, faster this time. The sanctuary seemed to understand the urgency. The light grew blinding, the sound deafening. Kate felt her mind expanding, touching Lyra's. The Elysian woman's thoughts were like music, complex and beautiful. Together they pushed the power higher. Outside, the hunters broke through the entrance, Nia leading them. Her once beautiful face now twisted with the Emperor's corruption, black veins spreading across her skin, her eyes empty. She raised her weapon, pointing it at Lyra. Traitor, she said, her voice not her own. You will feed the glory. Before she could fire, Captain Wells used her last strength to tackle Nia. Both women fell, Nia's weapon skittering across the floor. The other hunters rushed forward. Ferris flew at them, his small body glowing like a star. He touched the crystal walls and barriers rose, blocking the hunter's path, buying precious seconds. The beam reached its peak. A pulse of energy shot outward from the sanctuary, spreading across the planet.